Star Wars is so back, and it is all thanks to Dave Filoni and the Ahsoka show. Hey everyone, welcome back to our movie news. Now, some of you may be surprised to see my channel doing Star Wars videos, which makes sense as I've been predominantly a DC channel for the past 2 or 3 years. However, I am a big Star Wars fan, and talking about this franchise is of interest to some of my subscribers, which I am really happy about, as it means I get to talk about something else I love, and diversifies my channel a bit more, which means the channel name becomes a bit more accurate. So if you love Star Wars, then make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we will be talking a lot more about this franchise in the future. My goal is for Star Wars to be as prevalent as DC is on the channel, so hopefully with your guys' support, the channel can be a DC Star Wars hybrid. DC videos won't be put on the back burner though, all I will be doing is adding to the channel, so this just means more videos for you all. Now, I've loved Star Wars for as long as I can remember. The originals are classics, I loved the prequels, and the Clone Wars animated show is probably my favourite storyline in the entire franchise. However, I have felt Star Wars has been pretty disappointing since Disney took over. Now, before some of you roll your eyes, worried I'm a Disney Star Wars hater, don't worry, I'm not. I actually really liked The Force Awakens, and I thought The Last Jedi would have been a good film if detached from the Star Wars universe, so I can see good things in Disney's trilogy. However, their planning has been a mess, and the sequels were a huge mistake, and unfortunately the shows have gone downhill recently too. Don't get me wrong, I loved The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. They were incredible. However, the Kenobi show and the Book of Boba Fett really disappointed me. I thought in concept, the Kenobi show could have been the best Star Wars show yet. However, it just wasted so much time with characters or plot points I just didn't care about. Reva was irritating, and having a real lack of the Imperial March when Darth Vader appeared made his scenes feel like they were from fan films who aren't allowed to use the copywritten music. As for Boba Fett, that show had some real potential too. His introduction in The Mandalorian was amazing, and the show started off pretty well too. However, it ended horribly, and you know the season is poor when the best episode of the show was a Mandalorian-focused episode. And then Mando Season 3 happened, and that was a step back in the right direction. However, I felt they rushed bringing Grogu back. He really should have been reunited with Din at the end of Season 3 and not during the Boba Fett show. The show also felt like wasted potential. We had episodes that just weren't needed, like the episode where Jack Black and Lizzo turned up. That felt like some real corny Disney Star Wars. And the show overall felt like less of The Mandalorian and more of The Mandalorians. It kind of felt like it lost its way from the first 2 seasons of just a lone bounty hunter trying to make a living, and rather felt like a season purely designed to set something else up. But Ahsoka had been Dave Filoni's passion project. It was a love letter to Clone Wars and Rebels fans, and for me, even though it was quite contained in the locations they explored, Dave did a really good job at making each episode interesting. And for the first real time in Disney's era of Star Wars, it felt like they respected the prequels. Now, I love the prequels, so for them to barely get any attention in the sequel era did hurt a lot. And I think the Kenobi show didn't show it off in the best way. We had one good scene with Anakin and Kenobi, but other than that, it didn't feel like true prequels flashbacks. But the Ahsoka show had fantastic flashback scenes. Finally seeing live action scenes of Ahsoka and Anakin during the Clone Wars was exactly what I wanted to see. And not only that, but they were true flashbacks, not pushing in new characters into the prequels like they did with Reva's flashback scenes, but true, respectful flashbacks that worked so well in teaching Ahsoka new lessons. There were a couple of negatives, however. One of them was that I felt like with all the Disney shows, there are some wasted episodes. We only have a limited time with this season, and I feel there are moments that just take up unnecessary time. And the one thing really lacking from the show, specifically the prequel flashbacks, was the choreography. The lightsaber duels just felt too slow. It needed to be much faster, and it's something the prequels got right, and I feel that we need that back. The final criticism was the visuals. The cinematography was very poor in this show. Everything was grey and flat, and that part just didn't feel like Star Wars. It's actually something the sequels did a great job on. We felt the vibrancy and the power of the lightsabers and personality of each individual planet. But with this show, the colour just wasn't there. There was very little contrast, and the visuals actually downplayed a lot of the scenes. So the things that I think are a must for future Star Wars tales are massively improving the lightsaber choreography and vastly improving the cinematography. They're building a very good storyline here, but if it isn't visually engaging, then it's not going to have the impact that I believe it should. But back to what I did like. I loved how much we saw Anakin and how much he was talked about by Ahsoka and Thrawn. He was a key part of the show, and I'm really excited to see more of him in the future, hopefully. It just felt like, for the first time in a long time, Disney understood Star Wars. And that is all thanks to Dave Filoni. He has truly learned from George Lucas on how to tell a Star Wars story, and how to respect the lore of the franchise. Which has made me really excited for the future of the Star Wars universe. Dave has set up a really cool storyline. You have Thrawn with the Night Sisters trying to revive the Empire. You have Ahsoka, Sabine, Shin and Baylan all stuck on the same planet, which seems to have more to it than meets the eye. The ending shot of Baylan on top of the broken down statue of the father, with the son on the right and the beheaded sister on the left, has created a really interesting storyline that they can go down. It's just really nice to feel excited for Star Wars again. It's been on a rocky road, but I hope Disney sees the positive reaction to Filoni's work and just gives him the keys to the franchise. Let him do an entire trilogy based on what he has set up here. Have Thrawn be the main antagonist, maybe using the Night Sisters to revive a fallen Sith, like Asajj Ventress, and create a really cool trilogy, set in between the original and the sequels. Sure, I know some would love the sequels to be erased, but I don't think that would ever happen, so having something like this looks like the best of both worlds. I would love to see a fully planned out trilogy that can add more depth to the universe between the originals and the sequels, and could potentially help the story of the sequels by adding more to it. Imagine seeing a fully powered Luke, Ahsoka and Ezra all working together to take down Thrawn and the Empire. Even have Mando and Boba Fett helping out in the fight. Luke could even help out with Grogu's training and make him more of a mix of Mandalorian and Jedi. Sabine would be able to relate to that, and maybe they could have a bit of a team together. There is so much potential now we have the Ahsoka show, and I'm just so excited for the future with Dave Filoni in charge. We even now have the Tales of the Jedi, an animated series that tells individual stories of the Jedi that just add another layer to their character. I really want to see a Tales of the Jedi Season 2, and maybe even a Tales of the Sith version as well. Give us animated episodes of how Darth Revan got into power, or even Palpatine with his master Darth Plagueis. There is just so much potential with Star Wars, and it feels that Dave Filoni recognizes that and is trying to do that. We just have to hope that Disney allows him to do it. So make sure to let me know what you thought of the Ahsoka show, and if you're excited for the future of Star Wars, in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!